Okay, hi, I'm Ricci. I, for my senior project, chose to do a dialect project. As you can see, or maybe not see over there, I'm doing 6 different dialects, 6 different monologues, all from different playwrights of the assigned dialect areas. The reason I chose to do this is to get out of my regular voice patterns. I tend to fall back in my throat. Professors, you know this. Hopefully, doing American first, you'll all hear it and then see how it changes as each one progresses, that I won't sound like myself as much. Anyways, yes, thank you for coming. You know something in her does it deliberately? To be rid of us, forget we're alive. It's as if in spite of loving us, she hated us. She takes it to get that effect. At least I know she did this time. It never should have gotten a hold on her. I know damn well she's not to blame, but I know who is. You are. Your damn stinginess. If you'd spent money on a decent doctor when she was so sick after I was born, she'd never even have known morphine existed. Instead, you put her in the hands of a hotel quack who wouldn't admit his ignorance and took the easiest way out just because his fee was cheap. Another one of your bargains. I know your system. My God, I ought to after this afternoon. I'm saying, no matter how you excuse yourself, you know damn well your stinginess is to blame. After you'd found out she'd been made a morphine addict, why didn't you take her to a cure then? At the start, when she still had a chance? No. That would have meant spending money. I'll bet you told her all she had to do was use a little willpower. That's what you still believe in your heart, in spite of what doctors who really know something about it have told you. She always started again. She always started again because you've never given her anything she would want to stay off of it. No home, except this summer dump in a place she hates, and you've refused even to spend money to make it look decent. While you're off buying property and playing sucker for every kind of get-rich-quick swindle. You've dragged her around the road, season after season, on one-night stands with no one she could talk to, waiting night after night in dirty hotel rooms while you're out waiting for the bars to close. Christ, is it any wonder she didn't want to be cured? You were jealous of her paying too much attention to us, and you wanted us out of the way. If she'd had to take care of me on my own, if she'd had that to occupy her mind, maybe she wouldn't have been able. You think I'm going to die. That's why you're sending me to a state farm, for the money. Don't lie about it, Papa. You know damn well Hilltown Sanatorium is a state institution. You can't deny that. Don't lie about it. You know damn well how it is there. God, ever since I went to sea and was on my own and found out what hard work for little pay was and what it felt like to be broke and starve and camp out on park benches because I had nowhere to sleep at night, I've tried to be fair to you because I knew what you'd been up against as a kid. I tried to make sacrifices. Christ, you have to make sacrifices in this damn family or go nuts. I've tried to make sacrifices when I remember all the rotten stuff I've pulled, but God almighty, this last stunt of yours, it's too much. It makes me want to puke. Not because of the rotten way you're treating me, to hell with that. I've treated you rottenly in my way more than once. Oh, when it's a question of your son being sick, you can show yourself up for the whole town as such a stinking, old tightwad. Don't you know Hardy will talk and the whole damn town will know? Jesus, haven't you any pride or shame?
What a fucking knob jockey! I don't care if he hears me, I'm sorry, but what was that? What does he think? What does he think is happening here? Does he think he's some kind of lord because he's got a gastropub? What? Thin beef and gay puddings for people who think because they're eating orange fish, it must be smoked salmon? Because he can get the words patio, lavatory, and facilities into one sentence? Calling us gentlemen as if he had any idea of what that word means. God, graciously letting us stay here so long as we don't smoke or make any noise. What is this, the fucking quiet carriage? God, the look on his face when I gave him that cash. You know, checking we do want that many bottles, because it seems an awful lot for 10 people. Not these 10 people, mate. Because you know something? We're not people. Because real people, people like him, you know, honest, decent, hard-working people, hell-bent on turning this country to fuck. He thinks he can have anything so long as he works hard enough. He also thinks rugby league is a sport. He thinks his daughter's getting a useful education at Crapsville College, wherever she's... I mean, this man keeps his cheese in the fucking fridge. While you're under my roof, you'll respect my rules. I've got new rules for you, mate. It's called survival of the fittest. It's called fuck you with the riot club. Respect that. Can't have one rule for them and another rule for you. Why not? Seriously, why the fuck not? With a fucking riot club. We've hardly started, mate. Her. People like her, the stuck-up bitch. Fucking skank! You're a prostitute, love. Get on your knees. I'm not doing that. That's not my job description. I'm a professional. I need a proper break. Even the hookers want paid holidays. Ring my line manager. I'll wring your fucking neck if you're not careful. Where's your imagination? We've got the finest sperm in the country in this room. She should be paying us to let her drink it. These people think we're twats. Are we going to take it? Carry on taking it? Thinking they're cultured because they read a big newspaper and eat asparagus and pretend not to be racist. Bursting a vein at the thought there's another floor their lift doesn't go up to for all their striving, for all their making everything accessible and fucking mediocre. Isn't that shopping centre lovely? It's not fucking lovely, it's just new. It's a fucking mirage for you to spend invisible money on that isn't even yours, and then blame it on me for being fucking born. You can't have that, that's not fair. You know what isn't fair? That we have to even listen to them. Worth their weight in shit. That's not sweat on their palms, it's envy. It's resentment, and it stinks like a fucking drain. I mean, I'm just sick. I am sick to fucking death of poor people. It was almost too much to handle at first. Just the pressure, I mean. You know how it is, everyone's doing something and soon they're telling you how great it is and they are trying to get you to do it. The peer pressure. I usually never had a problem with it, but this was different. I mean, there was nothing like this where I was from, but living in America, you people do it so frequently, so regularly. Sometimes leaving your homes in the middle of the night for it. I have never lived that way before in my life. Once I started, I could not get enough. Even now I find myself looking for an excuse to leave my apartment just to go get some more. I know it is quite unhealthy, but I cannot help the way it makes me feel. When you have lived somewhere for so many years that does not have something so je ne sais quoi, you start to want more and more of it. The first time I actually tried it, it was like anything I had ever experienced. I was, as you say, hooked. I was with some of my American friends, George and Paul, and they were talking about getting some. I told them I had never tried it before, and as soon as I had said that, they insisted I go with them. They were telling me how great it is and that you cannot possibly live here in America and not try it. I resisted for as long as I could, but eventually I gave in. We drove to the place and I was feeling very nervous. We walked inside and I was met with a heavy scent of cleaning chemicals. The fluorescent lights were glaring down at us, and we approached the men. Paul asked me if there was anything in particular I was looking for, but I just told him to get me whatever he thought I would enjoy. I asked the man, "Where is your bathroom?" But he just looked at me and pointed off and said, "Down at the end of the hall." I walked into the bathroom and was assaulted by even more sickening odors. I went straight for the sink and splashed myself with cold water on my face. I looked in the broken mirror above the sink and told myself, how bad can it be? I splashed myself one more time before I left the bathroom, and when I came out, I saw George and Paul. There it was. The thing I had been dreading to try. I sat down and held it in my hands. It was warm and made my fingers feel oily. I looked at George and Paul, and they were waiting for me to try it. George looked at me with a big smile and said, "Well, go for it." It was very, very difficult for me, but I took a deep breath, brought it close to my mouth, and tried it. I was immediately overwhelmed by the powerful sensation. It was hot, soft, crunchy, gooey, incredible. A cool ranch Doritos Locos taco. I'll never forget that day. As soon as I had finished the first, I went back and ordered another two, and to my surprise, ordered another two after. It was at that moment I knew that living in America would be one of the greatest experiences. As George and Paul said, this here is America.
Yes, so that's how it is. I'm a schoolmaster. A job for which I feel I am completely unsuited. I live in a world in which evil is triumphant. Evil runs rampant through our lands, and my response is to sit at the side with my arms folded. In theory, I am 27 years old, and yet already I am indifferent to everything except the pleasures of the flesh. My life, like yours, is dependent upon the labor of others. Yet I look working men and women in the eye and feel no shame. Oh, Sophia, tell me, how can we be reborn? You say nothing. Believe me, I don't care a whit for myself, but I care for you. Where is the person I love? Where is her commitment, her daring? No, truly, you must listen. This is what concerns me. Why do you imagine you're ill all the time? You're sick. You're pale, lifting not a finger for yourself. Seeing the suffering of others and not being moved. What happened? Who taught you to lie? Who taught you to lie to yourself? What process was it that turned you from a fine young girl into a woman frittering away her very existence on the earth? How fine you once were, Sophia. How noble. It isn't too late. Summon up your strength and for God's sake, raise yourself up. Start a new life. Tell me, in the name of all that is decent, what on earth made you marry that man? You of all people, why did you not choose a man who would work, who would suffer, who was willing to suffer for what he believed? I loved you, Sophia. I loved you more than anything on the earth. If you had met someone earlier, someone worthy of you, you might have raised yourself up, but if you stay here, in this place, with these men, you'll only sink deeper. Life, why don't we live as we should? Alone. The trail of ruined women scorching away behind me. If it had been patient, that would have been something. I destroyed them like a Spaniard. No such luck. I have destroyed them a la Rus. Good. A necessary instrument. What was it Hamlet used to say? Dear Hamlet, he was always frightened of dreams. Cannot think why. Me, I'm frightened of life. And if I did it, Benita Commedia. One smart ape less on the earth. No, I don't think so. Will versus instinct, I think that's the problem. I want to do it, but nature says no. What can I do?
Do you know what's next on the agenda? Oh, I know, well, you don't, you big feck. Look at the state of you. Half bad in life, some fool of a girl. Don't be saying feck to me, James, or you'll make me want to give you some serious fodder instead of just be tinkering with you. James, Hanley, don't keep going on about your stupid feckin' toenails. The way you talk, it sounds as if I took off a rake of them, when it was only the two I took off, and them only small ones. If they'd been big ones, I could understand, but they weren't. They were small. Hardly noticed them gone. And anyways, if I was so concerned you were about the health of them toenails, it would have been once in a while they cleaned out the muck from under them. If I hadn't been such a nice fella, I would have taken one toenail off a set of teeth. But I didn't. I took two toenails off the one foot, so it's only the one foot you'll have to be limping down and not the two. With the pain concentrated on the one, if you could get yourself a hold of a crutch or a decent stick. I'm not sure if the General Hospital does hand them out, but they might do, I don't know. You could fold them up and ask. Or go in and see them be the best thing. Make sure them toes won't be going septic at the same time. I didn't disinfect this razor at all. I never do. I see no need. But they'd be the best people to ask, sure, they're the experts. You'll probably be needing a tetanus jab too, oh, there's no question. I do hate injections, I do. I think I'd rather be slashed with a razor than have an injection. Of course, I'd rather have neither. You'll have both by the end of the day. What a bad day you've had. But, I've lost me train of thought now, so I am. The next item on the agenda is which one of your nipples do you want to be saying goodbye to, the right or the left? Be picking, I'm saying. Whichever nipple's your favourite, I won't be touching him at all. I'll be concentrating on the other. I'll be giving him a nice slice and I'll probably be feeding him to you. But if you don't pick quick, it'll be both, otherwise you're waving goodbye to. And waving goodbye to two tits when there's no need but to wave goodbye to one makes no sense at all, as far as I can tell. In my eyes, anyway. In fact, it's the mark of a madman. So be picking your nipple and we'll get the ball rolling, for I have better things to do with me time than to be hanging around warehouses cutting your nipples off, James Hanley. Will you hang on a minute there, James? Hello? Dad, you bastard, how are you? It's me, Dad. I'm grand indeed, Dad, grand. How was all on Inishmore? Good old. I'm at work at the moment, Dad. Was it important now? I'm torturing one of them fellas pushing the drugs on the wee kids, but I can't say too much over the phone, like.
They are terrible men. And it's like they don't even know they are when they know well. What was it you were ringing about anyways, Dad?
Eh? What about we, Thomas? Poorly. Oh, poorly have you brought him to the doctor. What have you done to wee Thomas now, you fucking bastard? Put wee Thomas on the phone. Sleep. Well, put a blanket on him and be stroking him and get a second opinion from the other doctor. And don't be talking too loud near him. And I'll be home first fucking about the fucking morning. Me cat's poorly, James. The best friend in the world he is, wee Thomas. I was asleep in my arms, he'd fall away in prayer and yawn. Oh, he'd poo in the corner when you were drunk and you'd forget to let him out. Him looking embarrassed the next day as if it was his fault, poor little lad. I went through the hole in the wall, he'd come after a 2-day bender chasing skirt the length of the island. And pulling your hair out for fear something happened to him, you'd be. And him prancing in like, what was all the fuss about? Why was that getting me in the way? You won't be prancing today, James.
They come at first every weekend. Then the period stretches into a year and they come every second weekend. Then every 2 months they come, every 4th, every 6 months, or when they remember. Understandable, I mean, when will we be cured? What's there to talk about? I had a wonderful week. I took my temperature, coughed all night, spat a lot, spotted blood here and there. Read, talked about what? Oh, what we always talk about. What do Attila the Hun and Winnie the Pooh have in common? The. I think that's funny. Well, you are from Queensland. I have an uncle who occasionally visits. He stands over there and he shouts to me, "How are you, young Andy?" I've been here 6 years, since I was 16. I was coughing at school. My mother took me to the doctors. He was quick to diagnose what I had. My mother went white and said nothing. The next day we were having dinner, my father, my sisters, my mother and I noticed a peculiar thing. I was putting a piece of meat in my mouth and I noticed that my fork wasn't as shiny as everyone else's. I'd been given the old cutlery. Then I noticed that my plate was also different from everyone else's. I said nothing and later on noticed that my towel was alone in the wreck, my bedclothes soaked with disinfectant. And whenever I talked to my family, they always stood further and further away from me, and there was one more thing. They were always looking at me, pretending not to. Fear in their eyes, real fear. Waiting for me to pass it on to them. Not fear that I would die, but fear that they would catch it. It, always it, never its real name. It got worse, so I came here, away from them, away from contaminating them with it. So it's good they don't come up. They'd stand so far away, I need a pair of binoculars just to see them. You know what real love is? The right to say stupid things. I get so frustrated. I mean, I talk to you like this and I can't believe how powerful my feelings for you are. Like an electric current and I can't breathe. I touch your lips. Oh, I touch your lips. This was the first time I kissed you on the lips. I won't die. I didn't die from it. And anyways, I don't care if I did. I know it was a risk, but it was one I wanted to take. Even if it meant infected me. If I don't take a chance, if you don't, then our love isn't worth it. You won't hurt me. We'll make love here, so the whole of Sydney can see. All or nothing in these times.
Woo!